you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear. The camera's here and the microphone.
Mackenzie Dunmore.
What year in school?
Wait, yeah, 2016.
Okay, 2016. What are you running today? What are we looking for in the finals?
A 53
When's the last time you ran a 53?
in 8th grade
What happened the last year? Why no 53s last year?
because I was injured,
What was injured?
my hamstring.
It's never just the hamstring. It's never just your hamstring's tight. Looking at their stride mechanics, and we're looking for any imbalance. We're looking for asymmetry. The most common way that hamstrings are hurt is that the hip and pelvis doesn't have a full range of motion, and that the glutes, which are your prime movers, are inhibited and shut down. And so the next muscle down the kinetic chain is the hamstring. Your hamstrings are really good at knee flexion, and they're good at doing it quickly. If you recruit your hamstring to help with hip extension, moving a joint that it attaches to but it's not supposed to be the prime mover, eventually it's going to overwork and it's going to strain. So it's looking at the biomechanics of the athlete and trying to find out where's the imbalance that's causing it. Because with treating a hamstring, it's, of course, a lot of the treatment is going to be focused on breaking up adhesion, getting back flexibility, getting back strength in the hamstring. But if you don't fix whatever the initiating cause is, then it just comes back. And you know, the tough part there is how much time does the athlete have to work on it, and with the younger athletes, are they mature enough to really commit to doing extra things on their own? It's, you know, basically giving them homework. So with Mackenzie, I saw her just a couple times in the spring when she had a strain and made improvement and did better, and then I didn't see her again until in June when she had strained it again. The other component, and it's true with her and it's true with other youth athletes, is they're hitting a growth spurt. Sometimes injuries are unavoidable if they're going to be competing at a high level during them. The body is changing, the biomechanics, the center of gravity. So there are times where there's no fix other than backing off.
And that's one of the questions I had for you. The homework that you give her, what's the likelihood that she's going to be able to adhere to that and still compete at the level that we expect her to?
I'm not the one to answer that question. It's with each individual athlete.
I'm on my 21st year of coaching. Ended up running for Mercury Track Club when I was 6 years old. Ran for Mercury, ran out of Carver High School in Columbus, Georgia, signed with the University of Georgia, ran with them for 2 years, and then finished my last 2 years at Grambling. Once I decided that I was done running, I still wanted to be around the sport. Mackenzie started running for me when she was 11 years old.
Now, when she first came out there, was she good?
I mean, she was new to the sport, had never ran track before. I mean, she wasn't what I would call a stud at that time. She had her breakout season the very next year. So she ran 1 year where she just kind of, what I would say, got acclimated to what track and field was about. And then the second year was her breakout year where she just started dominating in the 4 and the 8 and even in the 200s.
Now, Mackenzie, she always seems to have that breakout meet or event, and then she gets hurt. When did she start seeing those injuries?
About 3 years ago, maybe. I mean, I think what has happened with Mackenzie is that she has had a growth spurt. I mean, like, she wasn't always a big kid, but she became just, you know, she just started growing tall as a weed, and I think a combination of that growth spurt and just, you know, developing even more muscles and things of that nature kind of caused her to start having some hamstring issues. And again, part of it is that, along with just understanding that you got to stretch when you do this sport.
This is my 4th year at McKeachern.
And where were you before that?
Before there, I was 2 years at Wheeler High School.
Okay, well, we're here for Mackenzie Dunmore. Mackenzie is one of your better athletes, I'll assume.
Yes.
And tell me about Mackenzie. What's her potential?
Mackenzie's potential is limitless. Big name, big talent. She's got a range that, you know, as a coach, you really kind of hope that you come across.
Mackenzie's been hurt. She's got a history of injury through her career. She was hurt in the 8th grade, and she ran a fantastic time. She was hurt last year. What are you doing this year to kind of help facilitate her being healthy throughout the whole year?
She came in and started doing off-season, really hit her in the weight room. Not to get bulky, just to get stronger. You know, weight room, we want to get faster, and we also want to learn how to prevent injuries. See, we don't talk about injuries. You know, it's something that just happens. You know, it is what it is. But, you know, as many tweaks as she had around even by this time last year, we haven't noticed that as much as we have this year. You know, we do a lot of injury prevention. We make sure they roll. Got to stand on top of her. She is a kid. I got to make sure she does all her preventive maintenance on her own. And now I think she's kind of seen the light. You know, she's tired of getting to the big moments and not being able to go full blast because I got a nagging little thing. So if anything, I'll say she's came into this season and being committed to what we've been trying to commit her to. She's accepted the challenge, and I feel like now she's put herself in a position to have a great high school season.
Is that because she's tired of being injured, or is that the maturation process?
I think it's both. I know she's tired of being injured because, like you said, at the end of her 8th grade year, she was nicked up. She still ran a good time. The end of her last year, well, not even last year, throughout the middle of the high school year, we kind of had to pull her in and put her out, pull her in and put her out. And we wasted a lot of momentum we built earlier in the season because of them. So, yeah, that is tiring to her. I do feel like she gets that now and she wants to compete on the level that it's just like there are other people, top level girls that she competes with from, you know, in summer skirk and even high school. But maturity-wise, she has matured.
We talked to Dr. Glass. She's been doing the homework.
Talking about the stuff at home, the stretching and everything. Yeah.
Right.
And she does it here now too. Like I'll see her, we finish our warm up. She's definitely way more accountable this year than she has in the last year.
Is that maturity?
Yep. The lights come on a little bit. Now where we are right now, you know, she's 55.4, 24.3, ahead of schedule, but we still know we have ways to drop.
What's your event, Mackenzie?
The 400.
So take us through your 400. How does Mackenzie Dunmore give us a 53? What does that race look like from beginning to end? What's your strength?
The start.
What about
Definitely. I get out enough to get a good pace, and for my for the 200 and then my last 100.
Why no 53s last year?
Because I was injured.
What was injured?
My hamstring. I strained it because I was properly taking care of my body.
What were you supposed to be doing?
Taking care of my body.
How?
By icing and drinking water, staying hydrated.
What are we doing this year? That's different. What's going to allow you to run a 53 this year?
Stretch more. Even though I do the minimum, do like more stretching than I should. And staying hydrated and staying focused and coming to practice with a positive mind, doing what I'm supposed to do.
Now, Mackenzie, here's what I've noticed about you. You're generally very upbeat until we start talking about your hamstring. So what kind of emotion does that bring to mind for you?
I just don't want to think about it.
Why not?
Because I don't want it to happen again, like deja vu.
So you feel like if you talk about it, it might happen again?
I mean, not if I talk about it, but it's just like puts a bad thought in my head.
If you could make a change in the system in which we coach young athletes, what would it be as opposed to someone presenting an injury to you?
Prevention, definitely. And first of all, each athlete needs to have their own individualized recovery program. And whether stretching is the most important thing for them, or core, foam rolling, there's going to be some general things, but each person's going to have, all right, this is more important. But I think the coaches spending as much time developing the plans, thinking about recovery as they are training, because that is how you become a better athlete. It's breaking the body down and having it heal back. So the recovery cycle is just as important as a training cycle. So I think having coaches emphasize that more, and the more things that they can do to identify, oh, this athlete has weak hamstrings or tight hamstrings, they're more likely to get hurt than just running and dealing with them once they get hurt. So early identification and more time spent on having a recovery plan are probably the two that I do the most, and making sure the kids are having fun. That would be actually number one on the list.
Go ahead, tell me about Mackenzie. What do you expect?
I expect her to get a good time, a real good time.
Okay.
Fast, she got a long stride.
Good.